everybody, welcome back to my carving shed. Welcome to part 3 of the Native American inspired war mask from a deer skull. So I did get everything sketched up. I got my design all sketched up. I just used pencil, sketched on my design, and then took some hairspray, put a light coat of hairspray over the pencil, the lead, that way it doesn't smudge while I am carving it. I am more than likely going to break out my Turbo Carver to do some of the carving. This is an air-powered rotary tool as opposed to the Dremel 4000, which I normally use. The Turbo Carver has a lot higher RPM, so rotations per minute, as opposed to the Dremel. But it has a lot less torque. So I'm going to give it a try on some of the designs. There's a lot of little stuff that just the hand piece on the Turbo Carver has a lot more control over. So we'll get into that, see how it goes. Should be a lot of fun. So let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to cover something that I'm having to deal with this design, and that is there's a couple ways to approach how you actually carve out the design that you're working on. There's kind of 3 ways, and this is not taking into consideration hyper-realistic carvings of, say, like a deer or a bear or something like that. So that's a little bit different. First thing you can do is simply carve out, so got just some little random design I did, right? You can simply take a burr and carve out the actual lines of the design, so then you would only carve out the lines and that's it, okay? That's all you would do. You can do that, okay? That's kind of like a beginner stage, works really easy. Or I did like a Celtic design one time, had a lot of line work in it, and that's all I did, was just simply carve out the actual lines themselves, and that's it. Or the second thing you can do is carve out the design itself. So with something like this, you're going to carve out, see if I can do this right, the area inside of the design. So the design itself becomes like a valley. It becomes lower than the surrounding area around it. So then for this example, you would carve down the area around this, and then the design itself, which is this part, would remain above the surrounding area and provide that contrast. Now, the third option that you can do is to do the opposite of this. So you would carve out the area around this little thingamajig, okay? And then that will leave that part of the design raised. And then optionally, like with something like this, you're not carving the area around it, you're just carving this area inside of here. I typically, just to kind of give it some definition, I would actually make a little lip around it and then carve down the area. That just makes it pop out more. So these are just kind of some things you can think on, like when you start a design, how in the end, once you start carving it, how you're actually going to, what areas you're actually going to carve out. So see if you can see this. For this, there's a lot of different ways I could approach this. So I figured out kind of like what areas I'm going to carve out, what areas I'm going to leave raised, because that affects how you stain it in the end. Just because stain is going to go into the valleys, the raised portions, the ridges are going to wipe clean if you're doing like a wipe on stain. So it's just something to think about. You have to really put some thought into it before you actually start carving. That way you don't end up with a situation where it's hard to carve. All right, now on to the main event. I got most of it done. I got the bulk of the carving done on the main skull cap here. I still have just a few little things to finish up, and then one of the side cheeks, little pieces that are going to go behind the ears. So I had to carve like the matching piece to this, some of the my feathers. So I'll do that, but I got most of it done. So I will finish the rest of the carving on my own time, and then the next video is going to be done. Yeah, finally. We're going to put it all together. We're going to do a little bit of, add some color to it, and I've got a couple tricks up my sleeve. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll start to see what those are. But yeah, it's going to be really cool, guys. I think so. If I can pull it off. There's so many directions I could take this. So many different things I could kind of incorporate into the whole skull war mask. But I'm going to try to confine myself to a few things that I have in mind with what you're seeing so far. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Do feel free to subscribe so you see the next video, the part 4 of the Native American inspired war mask coming out next week. I'll see you then.
Oh, mother, I hear your heartbeat slowly fading away.